composed and regal demeanor, then began walking toward the corner where Charlotte was innocently admiring her new gift. Each step the Queen took carried an invisible pressure, signaling gathering felt like a provocative reminder of a woman long gone, yet never truly absent from the public consciousness or the family's own. The atmosphere around Camilla shifted abruptly. The polite smile on her lips stiffened her eyes, narrowing with visible agitation and poorly concealed unease. Curiosity mixed with complex, hard-to-name emotions drove her to verify what she had seen. Camilla quietly excused herself from the group, slowly stepping away from the crowd. She adjusted her attire, reclaiming her usual would still be filled with countless challenges and obstacles. Yet Charlotte's remarkable resilience had infused him with tremendous new strength and renewed purpose. The Prince of Wales's determination grew even firmer in that moment. In the silence of his heart, he made a solemn vow to do everything within his power, using every ounce of his honor, influence, and position to shield his children from harm while carefully preserving the precious memories and loving legacies his beloved mother had left behind. He would transform those enduring gifts into an eternal lighthouse, its unwavering light guiding and protecting the entire family through whatever storms the future might bring. After finishing the story, they held any trace of hesitation or lingering shock. Instead, they shone with profound admiration and quiet respect. People began to stir again. Soft murmurs of approval and whispered congratulations rose gently from every corner of the room, gradually filling the space with a warmer atmosphere. A few senior members of the royal family, their faces etched with years of experience and wisdom, slowly made their way toward the young princess. They offered respectful nods, warm smiles, and gentle, reassuring touches on her small shoulder gestures that spoke far louder than any words of praise could. In this 11-year-old girl, they recognized something extraordinary, a rare curse of how far her actions had strayed beyond the bounds of elegance and royal protocol. Charlotte stood motionless, keenly aware of the suffocating pressure and brutality closing in on her. At 11 years old, facing such imposition from the most hands adorned with priceless jeweled rings. Determined and stubborn, she reached toward the little girl's wrist. The Queen clung desperately to the thought that she must seize the silver bracelet, as if doing so would erase the ghost of the past that now stood before her. Regardless, powerful woman in the royal household, any other child might have burst into tears or sought help from an adult. But not Charlotte. The moment Camilla's fingers touched her skin again, as she recognized the familiar design of the bracelet. It was the very piece Diana had worn on so many occasions, events Camilla had never wanted to remember. The sudden appearance of the bracelet at this family distance, a polite but not entirely cordial dynamic, carefully masked by impeccable protocol. Her sharp eyes suddenly froze as they swept across the corner where father and daughter stood. Her attention was instantly captured by the flash of silver light on the young princess's wrist. The world around Camilla seemed to slow. Memories from decades past, days of confrontation, and the ghosts of the past surged forward, pulled by his iron will. Without hesitation, he strode across the open space with long, decisive steps, passing through the uneasy gazes of the crowd, and heading straight toward the sense of royal life allowed him to grasp the entire situation without needing a single word of explanation. William's face darkened his brows, knitting together into a deep furrow on his forehead. Painful memories of defending what little remained of his late mother surged up, igniting a flame of anger that was tightly controlled of the conflict. Upon reaching Charlotte's side, his first action was to place a large, steady hand on his daughter's slightly trembling shoulder. A silent but powerful affirmation that he was there, and no one had the right to harm or coerce her. William shifted in the weight of history. A deep sense of pride and reverence swelled within her. Meanwhile, across the room, Queen Camilla stood conversing with a few distinguished guests. Having weathered countless storms alongside the king to reach her current position, Camilla possessed a keen sensitivity to every detail around her. Her relationship with her husband's children, especially William, had always carried an invisible around Charlotte's slender wrist, whispering words of love strength, and about the grandmother she had never had the chance to meet. Charlotte gazed at the sparkling silver on her wrist, feeling its warmth, and in front of everyone present. Instantly, a deathly silence fell over the entire drawing room of Windsor Castle. The soft clinking of silver spoons against porcelain cups ceased completely. Half-finished conversations among the guests, sharp and resolute as a blade cutting through the tense air. "That doesn't belong to you." The words carried no rudeness, yet they held the immense weight of truth and absolute ownership. It was a red line, drawn by a child directly exposing the Queen's wrongful behavior, burned with fury. The young princess's small lips pressed tightly together, then parted as she spoke in a voice just loud enough to be heard, yet as sharp. Grand drawing room, and bringing a quiet yet deeply resonant sense of release to the historic halls of Windsor Castle. The suffocating pressure that had gripped the room for what felt like an eternity slowly began to dissolve like thick fog lifting after a storm. In its place, a new subtle vitality spread through the air, allowing the guests to breathe freely once more. As the tension finally eased the eyes that had been fixed on Princess Charlotte, no longer of everyone present. Camilla's bitter retreat did not merely end the confrontation, it officially carved an irreparable crack into the power relations within Windsor Palace. The heavy oak door clicked shut behind Queen Camilla's hurried retreat, its solid thud echoing faintly through the commanding presence and fierce protectiveness toward his daughter. The atmosphere grew even more suffocating. He did not resort to insults or uncontrolled gestures. Instead, he expressed his anger through a stern, chilling demeanor that was truly terrifying. With a decisive motion, he gently lifted Charlotte's arm, the one wearing the silver bracelet, his body skillfully, positioning himself between Camilla and Charlotte, using his broad back as an impenetrable shield for his daughter. When he turned to face his stepmother, the eyes of the Prince of Wales were no longer those of a polite junior. They were sharp as blades filled with fury and the ultimate warning. He stared directly into Camilla's wavering eyes, every line of his body radiating overwhelming authority and demanding a proper accounting for her actions that had crossed every boundary. Under William's overwhelming psychological pressure from her husband's son, Queen Camilla began to feel her usual mask of composure cracking. Her hands, which always clasped together with graceful poise, now tightened subtly. Fingers digging into her palms to suppress gaze carried devastating power. William stood tall, his presence as majestic as an emperor, delivering an ultimatum, silently sending the ultimate warning that he would never tolerate any action, no matter how small, aimed at violating or seizing the sacred mementos of his late mother. This was not merely about protecting a piece of jewelry. It was about defending the final red line of dignity and family memory that he was willing to safeguard with his life. Facing the old instantly thickened the air around them. Rather than her usual distant demeanor, Camilla tried to offer a warm, affectionate smile, her gentle eyes seemingly filled with nothing more than a grandmother's pure curiosity about her granddaughter's new trinket. As for Charlotte, despite carrying the proud royal bloodline and her innate sensitivity, she was still only an 11-year-old girl, a dramatic turning point about to unfold beneath the arches of Windsor Castle. Queen Camilla's slow but commanding steps came to a halt right in front of Princess Charlotte. The sudden appearance of the most powerful woman in the royal household, the young princess, did not avoid Camilla's gaze. Her clear blue eyes stared straight at the woman opposite her with an eerie calm and a maturity beyond her years, a living proof that fists, showing firm determination. Charlotte looked up at her father's broad shoulder, feeling the absolute protective energy enveloping her, which only strengthened her confidence. Though the youngest person in a room full of powerful figures, Diana's spirit had truly flowed into the next generation. The unyielding strength of father and daughter formed an impregnable wall, completely cutting off any retreat for Camilla. Realizing she had utterly failed to impose her authority and was now suffering, folded in what appeared to be perfect peace. Yet beneath the splendor always lay hidden currents of power, memory, and wounds that had never truly healed. In a sunlit corner of the drawing room, Prince William, the heir to the British throne, a man who bore the heavy burden of duty and the lingering pain of the past, stood watching his daughter with tender eyes. For Williams, protecting his small family and preserving the sacred values of his late mother, Princess Diana, had always been his greatest purpose. Today, in this historic setting, he had decided to do something he had contemplated for a very long time. He gently approached Princess Charlotte, his 11-year-old daughter, who was growing more confident, intelligent, and strikingly reminiscent of her late grandmother, with each trust. His mother's cherished heirloom to Charlotte had proven entirely right and deeply meaningful. William understood that the road ahead for his children within the complex world of the monarchy. He gently squeezed Charlotte's shoulder with his strong hand, feeling the warm, sacred thread of family connection flowing strongly and vibrantly across the generations. The decision he had made earlier that day to a powerful wave of pride swelled deep within the father's chest. His eyes, which had long carried a lingering trace of sadness from the tragedies of his youth, now sparkled with genuine relief, quiet joy, and profound paternal pride patterns. However, the tangible feel of the bracelet quickly ignited the flames of jealousy and bitter memories she had tried so hard to bury for. Faced with the seemingly friendly attitude and unexpected attention from the Queen, her natural wariness temporarily eased. Charlotte looked up, gave a polite smile, and obediently extended her small hand, revealing the silver bracelet sparkling in the afternoon sunlight, completely unaware of the storm quietly brewing behind the other woman's eyes. Camilla leaned down, pretending to admire the exquisite engravings on the piece of jewelry. At first, her fingertips only lightly touched the cool metal, slowly tracing the classic that had proven herself the most worthy heir to Princess Diana's indomitable spirit. The image of her late grandmother, a woman who radiated boundless form. It had become a powerful living symbol of a sacred legacy being passed down through generations. By fearlessly protecting her father's precious gift and standing firm against Camilla's overbearing demands, young Charlotte onto the silver bracelet encircling Charlotte's wrist, causing it to sparkle with an almost magical, otherworldly brilliance. What had once been simply an old piece of jewelry now transcended its physical. Suddenly spotted the familiar bracelet Charlotte was wearing. In a flash, she strode toward the little girl, unable to take her eyes off the piece of jewelry long linked to one of the most iconic names in British royal history. What no one anticipated was Charlotte into an unprecedented atmosphere of tension, unfolding just after the christening of a young relative. The center of the drama was not King Charles or any senior royal, but young Princess Charlotte and the mysterious silver bracelet on her wrist. Witnesses say the event was proceeding normally until Queen Camilla.
She was a little apprehensive, but she has a reputation for being pretty feisty, very confident. Prince George may be the eldest child, but I think it's Charlotte who calls the shots and has everyone running rings around her.
A shocking incident has thrown the royal family gathering. The blood of those who defended the monarchy flowed through her veins, granting her an eerie calm. Instead of shrinking back or showing fear, Charlotte straightened her spine, lifted her chin slightly, and assumed a posture of astonishing dignity for a child. She did not scream, nor did she use force to struggle. She chose instead to confront the situation with unyielding mental strength. When Camilla's hand was only inches away from the bracelet, Charlotte looked straight into the older woman's eyes, which burned. Princess realized this was no longer a misunderstanding or an old woman's excessive curiosity. It was an intrusion, a deliberate attempt to seize the sacred heirloom her father had just given her. The initial confusion and hurt in her heart quickly gave way to a clear-headed awakening. The proud praise and admiration directed at Charlotte and saw how gracefully and humbly she accepted it all, while maintaining her quiet dignity. A bond between two generations who had never met in life was now healed and strengthened more firmly than ever, forged by the courage and strength of the future. Standing protectively beside his daughter, Prince William quietly observed the scene unfolding around them. As he watched the genuine love, yet displayed incredible resilience in the face of relentless adversity, seemed to come alive once more in every graceful movement, every proud tilt of the head, and every steady gaze of her young granddaughter. The emotional bond, the resolve of a man who had weathered countless storms of life, was etched into every muscle on William's face. He chose not to raise his voice and create a loud scandal, yet his silent, steel-hard demeanor and ice-cold gaze, the gaze of dozens of royal family members and guests around them, felt like needles piercing her pride. Camilla stood rooted to the spot, her face shifting from rage to stunned immobility before the red line William had just drawn in front of everyone. The direct confrontation between Prince William and Queen Camilla beneath the arches of Windsor Castle had pushed the already thick atmosphere in the drawing room into a new, even more suffocating chapter. Brave actions stood out like a brilliant beacon of light, a defining milestone that affirmed how certain spiritual values honor truth, and courage could always endure against the relentless passage of time. In that poignant moment, the warm June sunset poured its final golden rays through the tall stained glass windows, bathing the room in a soft, ethereal glow. The light fell directly, contemplating their own position, their loyalties, and the invisible yet unbreakable boundaries that defined life within this ancient family. Amid the tangle of swirling thoughts and unspoken questions, Charlotte's passing year. Charlotte was a sensitive, yet remarkably resilient girl, always proud of the bloodline and family values she had inherited. William leaned down his warm hand, resting lightly on his daughter's shoulder. From the inner pocket once belonged to Princess Diana, in her youth a treasure William had carefully safeguarded for nearly 3 decades since that fateful autumn of 1997. To him, the bracelet was an invisible yet unbreakable link between past and future. He gently fastened it in the pocket of his impeccably tailored vest. He drew out a small, time-worn velvet box. When the lid opened, a silver bracelet gleamed under the evening light. It was far more than mere jewelry. It was a priceless heirloom that had to her current status as queen. A surge of anger clouded her reason, and the usual caution of someone accustomed to strict diplomatic protocols. Camilla's actions began to shift alarmingly. From gently examining it, her fingers suddenly tightened around Charlotte's slender wrist. Nearly half a century. This silver bracelet, with its distinctive shine and unique signs of age, could belong to no one but the woman who had been her greatest torment in life. Its presence on a child's wrist, right in the middle of an official family event, felt like an invisible slap. Instead of simply lifting the bracelet to look at it, the Queen's fingers searched for the clasp with strange haste and roughness. She deliberately twisted the bracelet hard, rubbing it roughly against the young princess's delicate skin, clearly intending to remove the heirloom from its owner at once. All eyes, no longer discreetly curious, now filled with utter shock and astonishment, converged on the two figures. They were stunned not only by the Queen's actions, but hung unfinished in the air. Powerful figures and royal attendants alike seemed turned to stone where they stood there, breathing suddenly cautious. The whole room plunged into absolute stillness, where even the smallest sound would have been deafening, even more so by the courage, determination, and unyielding resolve of the young princess who had just proven that the legacy and proud spirit of her late grandmother lived on fiercely alive within her. Those present claimed that just a few words from William brought the entire room to a stunned silence. Some even described it as the most humiliating moment Queen Camilla has ever faced in front of the royal family. What exactly did Charlotte do when Camilla approached the silver bracelet's reaction? Far from behaving like a typical child, the young princess is said to have dramatically reversed the situation with one unexpected move right in front of the stunned guests. At the height of the tension, Prince William stepped in. Bracelet. And what did William say that left the Queen with no choice but to leave in silence? Windsor Castle carried its centuries-old air of solemn grandeur. Behind the tall, stained-glass windows, the royal family's intimate tea gathering after the christening of a distant relative unfolded. What do you think the tense confrontation between Prince William and Queen Camilla at Windsor Castle will mean for the relationships and power dynamics within the royal family going forward? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it. Able to endure another second in this mortifying atmosphere, Camilla suddenly turned on her heel. The sharp click of her designer heels struck the stone floor as she walked away briskly. She moved quickly, the public humiliation under the watchful eyes of the royal family. The Queen's anger transformed into bitter resentment. Her face flushed red before quickly turning pale with shame. Unable of her dress swaying with each furious step, heading straight for the side door of the tea room. The figure of the woman at the head of the royal household gradually disappeared behind the heavy door that closed with a thud, leaving behind a silent space filled with the swirling thoughts of the unusual scene. The soft chatter around them gradually faded,